Starting to go on a bit of a stroll is Alu, make his way quite deep into enemy territory. Going to find an engagement as well, which will not go his way. Apex with a fast frag. Now, what do the CTs do? They have Rain in the forward position. He's fantastic in this position, as discussed just yesterday. Picks off one to even the scales, but what is the response from G2? Looks like they want to actually switch things up and go back towards B, where they already had a body sort of playing with Monster. Nico on position though, looking for the headshots, denied. It's going to be Kiyoshima looking to try to stand to the test, but this G2 push is looking quite insurmountable at 3 versus 1 for them.
Rain being that one. No slouch, but by no means is this an easy task. I think he's going to look for the high ground to try and get something out of this, or maybe it's the defuse kit that's lying on the floor, buying himself some time, and he does take Apex by surprise, out of position, not ready for Rain on the high ground, and now it's Rain's. He needs to try and avoid the trade frag situation. You see G2 have backed out of the site, one player short, one player Monster. They know that he's going to be looking for them, and they are simply killing time. Does he go for the hero play? No, he's going to hold the bomb for the time being. Sorry, I mean, go for some more kills, but it's not going to work out for him. G2, they've been good with the pistols so far. That's another one in the bag.
Yeah, it's a really, really hard spot to deal with. And I do think Dave's made a very, very good point, and you can see about how predictable G2 can actually be. Obviously, the biggest thing to overcome is their skill. FaZe are one of the few teams in the world that can actually do that. But we did see, you know, a lot of overpass from G2 in the last few days, so it is something for FaZe to look at. They can see what they like to do on the T side, what kind of setups they have. Oftentimes, you're going to see Shox alone. Well, if he's alone on the sewers, you can kind of tell exactly what FaZe are doing. So we'll what G2 are doing. So we'll see what FaZe are able to accomplish once they get some money. But first, it's the force buy, and as Janko said, these guys are very dangerous with a round like this. You've got to give them some level of respect. A flash and a smoke to work with as far as utility goes, but I think the Deagles are the more scary part of this in the hands of Rain and Nico. Then there you go, first kill coming in for Rain, a quick 5 versus 4 for FaZe.
Yeah, it is a full force buy from FaZe. Some teams, the AWP will always go for that double eco no matter what, but Alu's not one of them. Confident with the rifles as well, but off to a good start with the pistols is Rain. 1 minute on the clock for G2. And again, Shox in his usual position towards B. This time he's in short B. Nico seems to be having a look. We know what he can do with these Deagles, but not today. Some aim punch before he gets his angle in the right place, and now the T start to move in to the B bomb site. Smoke down from Kiyoshima though, that will buy some time for his team. Getting some tagging. There's the bomb taken down for a second or two. 40 seconds left though, so that's not a terrible concern just yet. FaZe, the numbers being thin. Carrigan making steps towards short B, and he'll be sprayed. But reloads need to happen. He's going to take a gamble play through the smoke. Not going to work out for him. Ali will eventually get picked off as well. G2 avoid disaster. 2 players down. That'll be fine.
And G2 have shown so far in these many overpasses they have played in this tournament that they love to go with that default, just take some players towards A long. And of course, Rain was ready with the Deagle in position. In fact, there's 3 players towards A. So FaZe, they already made the right call in that sense. We'll see what they can do in this round. Of course, they won't be investing. They need to full save on this occasion. So G2 should be in a very comfortable position here. You see Body spraying away. Going back too close though is Apex, and Body does get taken down by Kiyoshima as well. So 2 quick kills actually is going to be, I think, a very good result, considering that it was just stock pistols for FaZe, and we quickly move on to the first gun round for FaZe. Yeah,
also nice to see that my mouse is working properly. Body had a faulty mouse. I went all the way home to get him one of mine because I have the same mouse as him. So all good in the hood, despite Kenny's questions earlier, his cheeky questions on Twitter. And indeed, it is the buy round for FaZe. And let's not forget, Ali went for the force buy on the second round. So no AWP for him, full M4s, M4A4s, no less, for the FaZe clan. Forward positions towards A, Rain moving into connector. And there is a boost towards B. But again, Shox, he changes his approach every few rounds towards the B bomb site. Sometimes he starts extremely passive. Sometimes he makes his way into short B. Sometimes G2 have 4 people around over towards B. But indeed, it's fairly standard stuff for them. And indeed, they will move towards B with 4 players. We'll see if MBK chooses to join them. And again, is this a hard read from G2?
Oh, it looks like G2 are going to beat that smoke. Looks like they have completely circumvented any counter grenades from the FaZe clan. However, we'll get a quick kill from Kiyoshima. However, he'll lose Nico. Grenade will take him down as well, and only problems here for FaZe. They have to consider, is it worth going for this? There's 4 players there for G2. Can they get a quick kill here to convince them one way or the other? That is the question. They still have quite a lot of utility, a couple of smokes there to be used, but this is a very tough situation. So far, G2 have been quite cautious themselves in not overextending, understanding that FaZe can be lurking for some aggressive exit frags. And initially that was the case, but no longer. FaZe giving up those aggressive positions, falling back now, and we see at that exact timing, G2 are going to start to extend out. And Carrigan has a very nice off angle. We'll have to see if this is going to yield anything. He's likely going to die with so many players in close proximity, but how much damage can he do? Or will they even go so far as to test his angle? Looks like it won't actually be the case, so Carrigan's going to survive in that position, interestingly. And with 3 players surviving, it makes the dropping situation very easy. You can get all your nades back, as well as 1 player dropping those guns, and they did have some nades left over as well. So we'll get another buy, good buy here for FaZe.
Yeah, Carrigan does not want to take fights in that situation, and he's dropped his M4 for a teammate, and he will proceed with the FAMAS, as will Kiyoshima, the French gun on the Frenchman of FaZe clan. And it seems similar to the previous round from FaZe. 3 players towards A, but Rain and Alu are more aggressive on this occasion. Previously, Rain was in connected. This time it's Carrigan, Kiyoshima and Nico with more forward positions towards B as well. And indeed, Nico will take down body through Monster. NBK and Apex are there, but the fact is, he picks off body towards B. They will know that Shox is the man who's normally lurking there, so that might be a clue as to what's going on. Indeed, Carrigan is rotating through CT spawn towards the B bomb site, so the fact it wasn't Shox picked off gives some early info to FaZe.
And doesn't it? These positions are really intimidating. Apex able to take a player down on B. We'll have to see, though, if the bomb can get caught. At the moment, it's able... Oh, my God, Kenny. So quick. He knew something was up, and he's going to get a second one as well. Such good game sense there from Kenny S. And now Nico's got to try to do something. Gets caught off guard, doesn't realize Apex is quite so forward as he was. And now Apex is looking for Carrigan. Carrigan all alone in this situation. Really looking for some damage. Able to find Apex. Another peek comes in, though, and that'll be the end of him. 5-0. G2 looking really good and reading the game very well so far.
Yeah, and you wonder if they expected a push from the CTs there based on the fact that it was someone other than Shox getting picked over towards the B bomb side. That's a lovely shot from Kenny, though, at close quarters, and he was ready for Alu as well. A clean 5-0. FaZe very quickly on maximum loss bonus, and now they're in the buy between the buys. Some Kevlar pistols here and there, and a UMP onto Alu. A round like this is going to ask for aggression, and in rounds like this, when Overpass was early, people would just camp on sites and play the close quarters. But again, short B is one place where you can do that. You saw there was a Molotov towards the tunnel. You can drop smokes there as well and pop flash yourself in if you want to. Again, FaZe want to abuse the range of their weapons. We'll see how this plays out for them. Rain still alive for now.
Oh, Rain. He's pretty consistent here, James. So far, he's quite consistent. And the damage to Kenny and Apex as well is quite significant. Rain finds himself another one. Problems now for G2. The bomb is down in a very awkward position, and FaZe can start to rally their members there. This is round-winning information. Potentially a round-winning advantage with 2 players already dead. Rain looking to get himself some thirds. Will be denied by Kenny S. Can G2 shoot their way out of this situation?
FaZe haven't really tried to protect the bomb with the players that they have remaining. Alu and Kiyoshima are around the toilets, but they kind of left Rain. He has 4 HP. They left him to die there. That's fine. They've still got the numbers advantage. G2 quietly moving through long. They could hear the scope of Kenny from Kiyoshima's position. That might be a giveaway. And Shox is waiting for a rotation, which might come in from Carrigan too. So he's going to get the next advantage. Great shot by NBK. Spotted another player towards Optimus as well. 2 players. They need to identify where they are on the CT side. The baiting going on, and it's Alu to clean up from the back. Lovely team play from FaZe to get a surprising first round on the board, all things considered.
This So the scoreboard, big welcome FaZe to the scoreboard there is. It's going to be interesting to see now, as they have a very solid buy, how Ali's going to play, because I'm very curious, what style of AWPing is he going to bring to bear against G2. KennyS, of course, still able to have more than enough cash to get himself an AWP. So I would love to see that battle of AWPers, them trying to get inside of one another's head, as Kenny goes for the connector peek. Instead, we'll see Alu actually at long at the moment, so they won't encounter one another early on, but it's Shox who's trying to take up his normal positions here. Again, loves to get into all the corners of the sewers area where he currently is, as his teammates now go back up towards A. We saw this round quite often from G2 earlier today. And Shox can act as a plan B. He can try to capitalize should there be rotation, maybe even try to initiate an entry frag into B.
That's exactly what he's doing, moving over towards sandbags on B, while the rest of his team focus on the toilets area. He's looking for an opportunist kill towards the B bomb site, but now he's simply holding an off angle while his team makes some progress towards the A site. So he just simply creep into that sandbag position, no smoke down. See if it pays off later on. Ali retreating from the long area as Apex will emerge at the beginning of long. Kenny looking for a jump, and that might come in from whatever CT that is. Got to be very careful. Oh, there it was, being teased. And now opportunities have passed. 3 players on the A site for FaZe as they start to move, G2 start to move towards B.
I love this Molotov. Again, if they were studying G2 at all, this is the very common contingency from their open. Is that they leave Shox there, and then they go B, and nothing goes right towards A. Shox gets himself a fast entry. He's now down to Nico. What can he do from this position? He's been discovered. He's worried about his flank here. 3 players facing him at once. Not much he can do in that situation, as now FaZe are left with 2 players on the retake. It's a very tough ask. Smoked off high as well, as Ali looms with that AWP, looking to see if he can get 1 kill, just make things just ever so slightly easier. As Rain also is awaiting an opportunity, but these G2 players, they're not going to give anything away for free, making life very difficult for the retaking players at FaZe. That said, a quick peek will result in a frag, so maybe this is on after all. Ali's going in for a closer look, but looks like there's just not enough time left to make this work, to make this a reality, and they're going to have to concede this round to G2.
G2 really abusing the numbers game towards the B bomb site, something which has been pretty consistent in their previous matches on Overpass when they push. It's just the numbers have been too great. Turning a corner from Monster and facing 3 Ts in the site. Not something you see every day, but again, G2 making it work very well for themselves. FaZe won the half buy round, and they've got those economical problems. But in fact, maybe that was the best round for them to win if they were going to lose the next one, because it's allowed them the extra money to pretty much have a full buy. Almost everybody with lots of grenades in this round as well. Alu still on the big green gun. Carrigan just 1 kill in these 7 rounds so far. He is over towards long with Rain. Can be an awkward place to flash the long area, because there can be people closer to that corner. So if you flash too deep, you might not hit them.
So the interesting thing for me in that previous round is just the fact that I really feel like FaZe knew exactly what was coming, but it's still very difficult to stop. I mean, they threw the incendiary down, but I do wonder how often that is the contingency for G2 in a round like that, where they just always double back, or do they actually ever try to force things towards A? It's a question that could be answered as we progress through this first half in the T side of G2, but now they decide to go towards B with their numbers splitting from Monster and Sewers as well. Smoke's being lined up by Shox as they start to enter. The crosshairs of Nico will be able to get 1 before being taken down. More really needed to be delivered. We'll see if Kiyoshima could be the man to do that, as he is just waiting for the perfect timing to go in for a peek. He finds a player, tries to transfer. It's going to be difficult though, but he gets the trade quite quickly as Ali also responds onto MBK, allowing FaZe now to have a 3 versus 2 advantage, and the bomb still needs to go down.
This is a very late rotation for the CT side, but perhaps the guys from A can run distraction. Carrigan comes in from the back. 2 kills for him. A second round for FaZe. Exactly what they needed. Surviving with 3 players as well. Could be much worse for them. Question is, can they survive the test? G2 still have money to buy. They've got 5k plus on 3 players, so 2 might be somewhat short. And indeed, the AKs will come out onto Apex and Shox. Body bringing a third AK. Kenny with the sniper. There'll be NBK reduced to a deagle for the time being. So opportunity knocks for FaZe to catch up to the score of G2 in this round. And beyond. Alu having a look. Nothing doing though. Kenny's made his way into the playground area. Body and Apex joining him. Shox again looking for a jumping peak towards short B. While NBK has cleared out connector. So they've got their initial map control, G2, and indeed, once again, with no smoke here, Shox will look for an entry, but maybe reading that, FaZe will grenade him down to 35 HP.
Yeah, it's a great HE, and look at this push from Nico going straight through Monster. Now this is something that could be quite unexpected, and if FaZe are able to slow down G2 on the rest of the map, Nico can become the big playmaker. There's lots of ways for him to play this position, and he's going with a very safe option, but it looks like that is the correct choice in this instance. I wonder if he would have heard a scope up there. If he would, that would tell him everything he needs to know, and this will be an easy frag. He might wait though, see if there's anything else going on, and he sees nothing. It's just this one player at the moment. That's going to tell Nico a lot. Oh, he's waited the perfect amount of time. Go for the transfer. Nico!
Oh, no, that's a bad miss.
That is something you're not going to see very often, but he has teammates to clean up for him. He gave them all the information they needed, so one frag and the information was more than enough, and now his team is in a 4 versus 1. Just Kenny S left alive at this point in time, and he's got all sorts of nasty angles to try to deal with as he makes his way through Monster. Oh, that was almost offered up to him though, as he goes in for another peek with the flashbang. And FaZe might go for a huge peek themselves here. So many players able to face it once. A disaster for Nico, but something that's not going to amount to too much, which is if you're going to make a mistake, it's good if your team still wins with 4 players alive.
I can explain exactly what happened to Nico there. For any of you watching here or at home, if you've ever aimed at someone, but you started shooting before your crosshair got to them and you lost track of your spray control, obviously he moved to the second player, but by the time he got to the third one, lost control. Very awkward stuff there. So many targets. We have a timeout from G2, as told on your screens there. Only a few seconds remaining. So, they're broken, the French side. $2,000 to $3,000. For the most part, they're closer to 2. FaZe 3 rounds away from score of G2, and it looks to get better for them in the coming rounds. Not much for G2 to invest, and they haven't bought anything just yet. But I'm sure some cash will be splashed.
I mean, this is great to see, right? Like Optic earlier, they were not able to do what we're seeing here that FaZe are able to do against G2. They weren't able to find a consistent way to really legitimately take away these gun rounds from G2. Whereas FaZe here, they are looking like they're in pretty good shape at the moment, and they're really able to contest in very desperate situations. They're able to play clutches. They're able to play against the odds.
Oh, no. Oh. Okay. I thought Alu had been spotted there. I mean, maybe he had, but when all is said and done, there's just no equipment on the G2 side. So we can't expect much from them in this round. There is one deagle in play on Monsieur Body. Had some standout performances already at these finals. But in this round, perhaps too much to ask. NBK, Kenny S, Apex, around the toilets, around the bogs. We're in the UK, they're in the bog stand.
Well, looks like it's going to be a problem for Rain, though. He's going to go down straight away. Kenny S with a fast eagle shot, but his teammates will clean up the rest. So it's going to be a tough one here for G2, potentially. I mean, so far we haven't seen, apart from SK on that map 1, much of a test them, not at least today anyway. FaZe, though, rising to the occasion. I'm curious to see some big plays from Nico in this series against G2. I don't think I've ever seen him like in a whiff like he did it just previously. So I hope you're right, James.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 targets, went from 1 to 2 to 3, so it's not as bad as it looks.
Oh, this is a very fast push from Rain. When do you expect this timing? Oh, he's unable to get too much from it, and Carrigan tries to peek with it, although the game had already been given up, and Rain didn't get the frag he needed to get to make Carrigan's play good. And now it's Alu playing the catch-up game, and that's a nasty tag. They're down to 1 HP, Kenny S. How is he alive?
He's got 1 HP. That's how he's alive.
That is crazy.
Shock still lurking outside B. As per usual, this boost, there are 2 places to look. You have to wonder if they'll start to get nervous Alu picked off towards the A site. That may cause a rotation, and indeed it will. Shock starting to move through Monster, so it's still time for G2 to go either way. And there is Kishima picked off. That's an open B bomb site. It's time to rotate, G2. Time to rotate. Nico moving in. He's got AWP. They'll hear the scope. They know he's there. But what can he do? It's a really awkward angle at T in the water. So, well, Rain getting a pick may make life easier. Not abandoned ship quite yet, but 2 versus 4. Look how tagged these Frenchmen are. Rain could really put in some work with that M4 if he gets an opportunity, but will they give him one?
Yeah, that's really the problem. If it just comes down to Nico, it's as though they almost have 4 health from his perspective. So it is indeed Rain. Oh, and that's the problem. He found that the only healthy player with those first 2 bullets on body. Nico with a wild flick there, unable to connect. Now it's a battle of survival for Nico as they try to deny the AWP. That's a nice one. Very good follow-up from Nico as well. Still 2 players left though, and he does have to give it up, unfortunately. But that will be a nice consolation. Keeps the AWP alive and does some additional damage to the G2 economy. But this is a very back and forth matchup we have between these 2 teams already.
Yeah, and that score is still fairly close. And so is the money for these teams. FaZe will be back on the bye, and I'll be back with the second AWP. 4-7. So let's see. FaZe, they have not been shy to go for aggressive plays towards A at the beginning of rounds. And again, they tried to abuse Shocks in that previous run when Nico went through Monster. Unlikely to happen with an AWP, but we've seen it from Simple. So who knows? Carrigan will make his way towards the B bomb site. And again, they've got that boost on B, but Shocks, he likes to take his time most rounds. Although you never know when G2 are going to set 4 towards the B bomb site. AK's doing their work. Rain out early.
Are they ready to receive though, to make life a bit better for his team, but he can't get the connection he needed to get. And it still remains a 5 versus 4 in the favor of the Frenchman as they start to progress forwards. Oh, that's so annoying, the timing. Just such CSGO things right there for poor Nico. Ali though, a very good AWP under pressure. And that's what's about to come his way. And they start to sail through the air, meeting that A bomb site. Nico going out, we've got to be careful. Some of these players are beginning to peak here for G2. And FaZe have left 1 player in Suez to make sure that if there is a double back hit into B from G2, that it gets caught. It's a great position there from Carrigan. He can also flank quickly if it is a committed A push. 40 seconds left here now for G2 to make that call. What's it going to be?
See the off angle in the B water. It's a tricky position to deal with, but again, the focus from the T's is currently towards A, and Carrigan's position will allow Kishima to rotate. So we've got 3 on the A bomb site for the CTs, and that's 3 very fast kills. Collateral for Alu, but what has happened? Look at the kill board. 3 kills and 3 straight back from Apex. It's like, nope. Carrigan now 1 versus 2 coming in from the back. Position unknown, as you can see from the directions G2 have taken. Carrigan, this is very difficult. He has an opportunity though. There's a chance to get a kill without the trade. Spotting the first player there. He has no idea where Apex might be. Apex looking for his 4th kill of the round. The 180 from Carrigan. Lovely headshot from him. What a crazy round.
How does Carrigan find that kill at the end? Absolutely unreal save there.
Damn, son.
From the leader of FaZe. The guy that turned it all around for this team with his leadership. That was kind of an awkward frag, finally gets that connection, and then so much time there for the frag to be made by Apex. Incredible stuff, and that's going to make things really interesting once again, just closing the gap. The money for G2 is they needed to win that round. They're on some Tech 9s now. They've got limited utility, so we're likely to see this fast play into B. And at the same time, a more aggressive stance from FaZe towards A, so they'll have fast rotation times towards B if this push does come in quickly. But if G2 wait enough time, maybe FaZe will be further away on that rotation.
And FaZe, if we look at Nico's position, they've had a few rounds where they've started with a boost at the back. You don't commonly see a boost from here, so they're playing it safe, FaZe, and that might be the right play. They see the smoke on short, got to focus on Monster. Spotting some players, and now the wall of smoke is there. So they were playing for the retake, and they will be subject to that thanks to these smokes, but will there be a play through the smokes from G2? They've got 2 more smokes. They can remake this wall of smoke. There's another one, and one on the high ground as well. Now you've got problems for FaZe.
Yeah, the positions are really, really hard to deal with. Of course, having those players with tech lines in the water as well is really annoying just because the mobility, they can just run around all over the place. That said, it doesn't always help you out as we see Body going into the open. Carrigan takes full advantage. Apex, though, shoots the flying rain, gets himself a second one as well. Oh my God, that was disgusting there from Nico, but it comes down to the 1 versus 1. It comes down to Alu, the CZ for NBK to run out of bullets. They're both very low, it's a knife fight! Alu with the steal on the knife fight, but there's just no time. Unbelievable how close these rounds are becoming between these two teams. 8 rounds now for G2 and 5 for FaZe.
Lovely shot from Nico. The knife, but ultimately not enough time to defuse the bomb. Carnage, though, love to see some carnage. 8-5. We are running out of rounds in the first half, and G2 in a great spot to go to 10. We have a scout and an M4 onto FaZe, and not much else. The grenades suck as well, but I'm not really going to have time to talk about it, so I'll come back to it later, that previous round. But we've got the smoke. That's forcing G2 around. It's funneling them 2 for 2, but the bomb site is with the T's.
Yeah, that MAC-10 doing some nasty damage there, some nasty work. And there's still one player of these 3 that has no helmet, so it could do yet more disgusting work as it takes a close position with Body. Carrigan, though, for the time being, is interested more in the long-range engagements. NES got to be careful. There are 2 players seen from Monster. That will cause some repositioning here. We'll see how these T's handle it. Actually trying to go up high. This is going to be an interesting choice. Carrigan is there. Actually catches the shot onto Body. Really well played so far from Carrigan. He's just forcing the back. Shox is going to go for a team kill instead. Carrigan, what? He's still alive. Pulls out the USP and still somehow survives. An unbelievable tale of survival from Carrigan. That is not how I expected it to go.
I don't know what I just witnessed.
This is unreal, these last few rounds. 6-8 now for FaZe.
They had look at the change in fortune. Well, you'll see it in a second. Look at the change in fortune on weaponry. It's almost the reversal, like they've just thrown weapons at each other. Now it's FaZe with all the rifles and G2 with not much of anything in the last round of the first half. Could be pretty tight. Rain and Alu looking for some aggression towards A, but there are smokes, which will slow them down. Now again, G2 with 3 players towards B, but that 1 rifle is going to get the kill. Who other than Body? All of G2 ready to split the B bomb site. Here holding the off angle from the short area, and he will clean up towards Monster. Carrigan for support, leaving Apex the last man standing, 1 versus 2 now, and he really needs a gun. Picks one up, and he'll make his exit from the B bomb site. 1 minute 15 for this 1 versus 2, so he can reset the situation.
Yeah, it's always really annoying for the CTs. When you're in this spot, it's like, do you take the gamble? Do you play 2 on one side? Do you try to spread out a little bit? There's difference of opinion how to play it, but we will see FaZe playing together here, and that should allow them to guarantee to get a trade in. And they're opting to sit on the A side. It's the easier solution, as the B side is easier to retake than A. So, or rather, sorry, they're towards A. They've got that fast rotation position, so they're very going to be fast in this position to try to punish Apex should he go far away. And Apex can't know if there's a player lurking in bank, down the stairs, how close they are. He's going to start to hear the running, though. Turning for the angle. Quick flash over the top there to try to push into these forward positions. Apex with a flash of his own, looking to go for a peek. He does have to try and make this a 1 versus 1, and he will get that 1 versus 1, but Rain quick to the shot, and another round for FaZe in the bag. That's going to be 7-8. This is a crazy game so far, James. I think it's delivering in the first half all that it promises to. Just insane individual performances both ways.
A pretty tight score between the 2 teams, and now we'll get to see if G2 can be as infamous on their CT pistol as they were in the Season 1 finals. Massive shutdown here on the B bomb site from Kishima with some support from Carrigan as well. Again, not playing too tight to the barrels angle. If he plays slightly to his right, then he's not exposed to short and can focus more on Monster. So well played, good sense of awareness from him. And the pistol will begin in the second half. Carrigan, as per usual, the grenade man for his team, rests on Kevlar. And Kenya's smoke and defuse kit Apart from that, it's pure fire coming from G2. And of course, Shox is going for a very aggressive play. 3 players, at least towards Connector, will take NBK down. Maybe it's time to retreat. Why would Shox do that? He's Shox!
Oh, looks like we have a lot of pops coming in from the G2 side. Shox is found a good position, but Rainbow turn around to deal with him. But the space was opened up for Apex to capitalize, though he's on 1 HP. This gets a bit interesting now in this 2 versus 2. They're still challenging these Ts. This FaZe aside, Nico picks off Kenny S, and that leaves Apex on 1 HP. 1 HP. That means that he's just going to have to get 2 instant headshots. What a dire situation for Apex to be dealing with. He's going to try nonetheless. He has the kits. So there is some time, but it's again that health that's so worrisome. And once his position's given up, he's surely done for. That is the case. Carrigan easily taps him down. And 8-8 FaZe with the pistol on the second half.
Opportunity knocks for FaZe Clan. Score is tied. So you replay some of these kills. Wow, was he even... Did he even stop for that kill? I don't know, but that was a very nice kill as well. 8-8, we have a selection of weaponry from FaZe. 2 AKs, a Scout, an MP7, and a Galil. There are some Molotovs. Those will be quite important once it's time to approach one of the sites. The Scout can keep an eye through the fountain position towards the balloon area. And there's a nice boost in Playground, so Carrigan has as much cover as possible in case there is a numbers game push from the CTs. But the CTs have put those numbers in the B bomb site with Apex towards long. A slow approach from FaZe. No one lurking around the B area at present. I'm confident there'll be no push there for the time being. And they'll start to take their initial map control. Will this be another long anti-eco, anti-force buy round?
It could very well be. I mean, G2, that said, are in a position where they might want to take a cheeky peek here and there, especially with the players who have the Deagle. I'm surprised that Apex didn't actually hazard a peek, because, you know, you can get that very fast shoulder on an angle, just let off 1 shot, you can make it fairly accurate. If you get that headshot, obviously it's going to go a long way into helping your team, but they're playing it very passively, actually, forcing FaZe to waste a lot of time, forcing FaZe to use some of their utility, but they've left 4 smokes and a Molotov. That's a very nice pick off there from Nico. That's what they want. Get themselves in here, but we get the smoke picked up by NBK, and this might make things a little bit awkward. He's going to have to be very on point with his first few attempts with that Deagle, though. And now we see all the smokes coming in from FaZe. The slow walk and the pressure mounting for MBK. He's got to make this work with this Deagle. First player's coming in, it's a wild spray. It's not going to really help him out too much. Kenny S is there though, but only good for 1. Looks like it's going to be down to body now. He's got a 5-7 there. Good chunk of damage done. A second frag found, and that's 4 kills. A very good result for a force buy.
Yeah, really good result. Old style force buy on overpass, as we mentioned earlier. Just camping in the sites, forcing the T to come to them, play those close quarters. 1 long-range kill from the Scout, but apart from that, mostly in your face. 1 round lead for FaZe. Mac 10s coming out now. The moving accuracy, always fun to play with those. More Molotovs, good to see. A bunch of smokes as well, should they want to isolate some players. And going back to G2's, one of those dying rounds on the T side, where they had the wall of smokes at the back of B and a smoke on the balcony, and then they had 2 smokes post-plant as well. That's not so common on overpass. You sometimes see that on cache on the A site, but it could be quite difficult to deal with if that's something that becomes prevalent on overpass. I've got the Molotov soon to be deployed towards barrels by Carrigan, while Ali tries to hold an angle, but there's 2 players ready for him. Repositioning. Continuation of spray from Nico, though. He knows all the angles. There's a crouch back behind the site, but he's got support to clean that out. Kenny and Apex remain, and their lives will be brief.
Yeah, they will. I mean, only 1 frag so far this time around. I'm not sure if Apex can find anyone. Looks like he'll find Carrigan, but he'll also find the end of the barrel of his Galil. So that's going to be a fast round there. 10-8 is the score now for FaZe. They didn't start this off too well. I think G2 won, what, like 5 rounds in a row or something on the first half, and it was starting to look like all the other G2 matches we've seen recently on Overpass, but FaZe, they're able to break them in an incredible fashion. And now it's down to G2 to answer back. They've got an AWP onto Kenny S. Will he go aggressive? Surely we'll see some aggression from him. He's going towards the toilets area, so he's going to play it conservatively to begin with. Perhaps an element of respect garnered to his opposition.
Molotov is lined up towards barrels, if I'm not mistaken. Carrigan making plays. Indeed, there's the Molotov towards barrels, and he's just spamming, trying to draw as many people towards B as he can. And indeed, the CT's retreating towards A and now wondering what is going on and holding their ground, having a look towards long. In the meantime, FaZe lining up a boost, trying to find what they can find. They'll hear some footsteps, they'll hear some movement, and the CTs will have a boost of their own. Will the barrel show? I don't know. Surely something terrible is going to happen. There goes Shox. They know one more person's there at the very least. 1 minute on the clock. 3 players towards A in the meantime for FaZe while they're harassing B. And Apex is going to find out what's what.
Great play from Apex. Finds himself Rain and falls back as well, evening things up, but at the same time, Carrigan is trying to make his way into that B side. He's got Kiyoshima to try to back him up there as the rest of the team commits into B. Kiyoshima leading the charge. Well, he's not really charging at this point, but he is the man in front. He's got to make something happen. Kenny S is going to make it happen first, though, with a quick shot from his AWP. Although Alu's still alive with the AK, trying to make this work here. Another nice follow-up coming in from Alu as he makes it possible now to go for a plant. Nico, though, challenging Kenny S, even though he's got just the rifle against the AWP. He makes it work, that Galil, but now it's all down to him in that Galil. Let's see if he's able to get it done here against Apex. Moving in for more. Nico, perfect timing on the peak. Finds himself the kill in the round for FaZe. 11-8 now.
That's put G2 on an eco. So again, G2 heavy favorites coming into this series, but it's FaZe in the lead on the first map of this best-of-3 series. See the boost finally coming in again. Awkward angles, but Kiyoshima gets the better of Shox. Not even a wallbang kill, but somehow shooting him directly and not in the head.
I mean, I like the small touch there tactically that FaZe, they push Monster just to pull back again, but they wanted to show Carrigan in that position and then try to use the boost to capitalize on a rotator, but it's like we'll see the Deagles out and doing some damage already early into the round. Here as there is a 1-for-1 trade between these two teams, and FaZe are going to have to take this cautiously now. This can always, spiral out of control if you don't get your hands back on the reins here. Looks like they're trying to do that and try to also figure out what G2 want to do. G2 just holding their positions for now. An approach we've seen be successful with this sort of a buy previously. It's looking for a peek though in connector, and he's going to find Rain, and unfortunately it's not going to go too well for him. That's another player down here for G2. FaZe will be happy though, but Shox could change everything here. Undiscovered, looking for more players, taking his time. A quick 1 bullet and an AK is the reward for Shox.
He's moving into the B bomb site, and Body, he's hiding behind the sandbags on B. So if they make a play and they think the site is clear and Body just stays, oh, the smoke is done. That might change everything. I was going to say he could stop the plant, but maybe he just goes for a play through the smoke. He's got MBK on the high ground. He can run distraction. The T's, they've moved past the angle as well, and there's the bomb plant. Surely Body's going to try and stop it. Oh, he's gone either side, but that's all he can do. MBK down in the meantime. Distraction has not worked out for G2. Shox making his way in the site now, and he's the last man, but doesn't get a chance to fire any more bullets. So much potential for G2 in that round. But again, it was an eco round from them, and here comes the buy.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen crazy aggression from Kenny S on the CT side with the AWP. It's still very early days. And G2 are taking a timeout at the moment, so they're perhaps discussing, okay, how do we want to actually do things here? Does Kenny S go very aggressive? If so, we're going to support him. Okay, Shox has picked up the second AWP, so we're going to see double AWP now from G2. This is something that FaZe haven't played up against in this match of Overpass just yet. So we'll have to see how the spawns are for them to assess as to what they might want to do. Kenny S actually has a pretty forward spawn towards A, so he might get a very nice timing, but perhaps he'll run into Alu.
Kenny and Shox with the sniper rifles. We showed the AWP video from Accuracy International, debuted earlier on. It'll be on YouTube later if you didn't manage to find it. Although, being YouTube, you can always scrub back and watch it while we're still live, maybe between maps. Kenny is going to go for a forward play towards the fountain position, but FaZe not going to peek straight away. Flashbang to try and force him away. Many players for FaZe in connector.
Yeah, Shox is looking in towards sewers though, just trying to make sure that he can catch anyone coming out from the Monster side. However, they are going to completely ignore that. FaZe as they make their way in towards A. This is a similar round as to what G2 like to do on their T side, actually, where they leave one lurker towards the B side, typically Shox, and typically he would be moving in towards Sewers, which is the kind of play that Shox is looking to catch himself. So you can see the mind games there as he knows how players like to play his position well, but he misses the flick, unfortunately. But it is some amount of information, at least for G2, because they've not really seen anything so far in the first 50 seconds. Alu can't find anything either, so eventually FaZe, it's down to them. They have to make the play into one of the bomb sites. And perhaps they're lacking the kind of information that they want. But they have good positions here. Rain taking over Sewers, but here's the info play from G2, I think. Moving forwards from short, waiting for the pop flash perhaps. They go for the peek, there's no flash, it's a dry peek, and it's going to reward them a kill.
It's going to reward them more than that. It's pretty much the round shut down now with 30 seconds remaining. Keo and Alu versus 5. Only so much they don't expect to do now. Do they just walk into their sure doom on the A bomb site? Indeed, that's exactly what they'll have to do. G2 surviving with 4 players. Very important for them as they look to close the gap yet more. 3 rounds between the 2 sides at present. And FaZe, for the most part, well, for the most part, about halfway, they've got money to buy. It's going to be an awkward round for them. We'll see what they can muster. AK onto Carrigan and a bunch of pistols. Maybe something's on the floor. We'll find out as they start to move. Indeed, a second AK onto Nico. Well then, 12-9. They have the lead. They've got some rounds to play with. They'll need these AKs to be can openers for them. If the players go down, if their entry fraggers go down, they can get picked up by the Tech9 players behind them. There was a nice flashbang from Kishima outside Monster into short B for his teammate to push in the previous round. That was a nice touch. And indeed, FaZe Clan closing the distance towards B, but they'll have to wait for that smoke to expire.
There's a different approach from FaZe. Previously, they did not find success, just lurking all over the map. Obviously, now they have Tech9, so they're somewhat restricted in what they can do. This is one of the better options. We can see if Body will hold this one with your mouse, James, as he is blind, so very blind, but manages to sneak his way into a kill and in towards Monster. Finally gets taken down, but that's a pretty good result, all things considered. Alu with a quick headshot, though, will start to deny these players coming back in for the retake. Nico also with a nice forward position, and now it's just down to Shox. And 1 versus 3, smoked off for what probably feels like an eternity. It finally does disappear, though, but his teammates have all been killed before that happened, and he was not able to support them from his position. And instead, now all he can do is wait and try to save the AWP for his team to give them a better chance to win some of these following rounds, because the next round is going to be the second one that G2 would have lost in a row. That will be $1,900 as a loss bonus, but the money that they have right now is pretty poor, so we'll have to see what they decide to do. Shox will be able to drop one. Body will be able to buy. So there is a world where they can buy in this round, but we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Questions? AWP getting thrown around on the CT side. It's gone from Shox to Body to Shox to Kenny. And indeed, they will buy around what they have. The M4s are coming out, the UMP is coming out. Not many grenades, though. And again, that normally calls for aggression from the respective side, well, from the CT side. So let's see what they choose to do, see if Kenny can find himself any openings. We've got 4 players towards the B bomb site for G2, which will help them enable that boost, and Alu will be the one getting the opening kill. So not a good start from G2, and indeed, here is that aggression, even more needed now that they've lost a player. But you can see Alu, he's fishing, he's looking towards both Monster and short B. Any aggression from G2 will be severely punished by Alu, should he get an opportunity. So G2 got to be very, very careful indeed.
Yeah, it's such an awkward spot to be in because they really want to take the initiative if they can. Looks like it's going to be FaZe that takes the initiative. A nice flash over the top there. Then the follow-up from Carrigan is very solid. giving yet more advantages, but perhaps they can be stolen away as we get the double potential there from Apex. Shox will have to be the one to get it, though. He's got the UMP close range. Kenny S covering him as well, and now there's problems. Karrigan's going to pick up that bomb of his, and it's 40 seconds for FaZe to now make the play. Nico's trying to secure a forward position, but Kenny S says no. A very firm no it was as well with the AWP, as Karrigan 30 seconds to get into a bomb site. What do G2 expect right now? Of course, they still have a player lurking in jungle, so Karrigan will be hurt, I think.
Karrigan's baited Shox pretty hard, though. He threw a perfect smoke into the B bomb site, which drew Shox far away. And that may help him plant on the A site. Maybe it drew Kenny back for a quick rotation if one was required. And he's got himself a nice plant. He doesn't know where Shox is. You know where Kenny's is. Kenny's rattled off a few shots. Now the question is, one of these guys is going to go for the defuse, but it's not Shox. Shox is the one looking for Karrigan, and Shox is the one with the kit. And he knows he's got a plant, so this is really awkward. Ideally, you want the a sniper holding the defuse and the rifler holding the cover. So if I was going to say, if Kenny misses his shot, then it's all going to fall apart. But Kenny, he's been firing on all cylinders from the beginning of this LAN, and he continues to do so. Trust in his teammate. Could have swapped the weapons around, but there was no need for that. G2 make it to double figures. Still 3 rounds behind FaZe, who will be forcing it up with 2 AKs and some pistols.
Yeah, really clutch shot to hit from Kenny. It's hard to say which way this is going to go. 3 Tech-9s, a lot of grenades. This could very well be a 1 round from FaZe. We'll have to see if they decide to just go B again with these Tech-9s. It's, again, often the best play with the Tech-9s. Oh, it looks like Kenny might have missed that, actually. Lots of players going around him. I'm not sure if he's been spotted. Yes, he has. It looks like Nico gets the frag, and the AWP is down on the floor, but there's a response here. Shox able to get a kill back there from a long push, and now the push will be spotted. Body all over the place, able to find the frag somehow with a crazy adjustment. What a player Body is. However, he's got more work to do, and he's going to start on that as well, getting another kill, but still. G2 on the rotation now as they look to defuse the bomb. And FaZe have had plenty of time to be all over the place. And with that smoke up high, that makes things annoying for G2.
Slowly disappearing as that smoke. Apex left, but not for long. Nico to take charge of the round once again. Put FaZe on 14. Money's been tight for both sides, but it's FaZe who are slightly ahead. A very good chance for game point now. Money's not there for G2, and they've opted for the force buy. They don't want to play against game point 5 rounds down, so they're all in for this one. Body with the UMP. Shox to the FAMAS and Apex with the Mag 7, looking for some meat shots. Fully equipped FaZe coming their way, and Rain's even opted for the Mag 10 in this situation. At the very least, expecting a lack of helmets, and he's not wrong. Only NBK with a helmet in this round for the CT side. Rain looking to use and abuse these players, but he's in tow with his team towards long, although he will venture through the toilets for those close quarters engagements. Kenny just spotting, just looking to see who's around. Maybe he'll try to buy some time with that smoke, but there's a minute 10 on the clock here for FaZe.
It's a pretty fast walk up from FaZe, just up long. We haven't seen this from them yet in this half. And there is a player very close. It's Kenny with the CZ. Oh, he's going to peek though, and there's a slight gap for Rain to abuse. However, still a lot of time, and you can see Karrigan's covering the rotation. Does he think there's another player here? Has to pull out his gun again. And now he's going to give up an AK for Apex. Now things get whipped because Apex can try to hold down the flank, try to force FaZe to have to make the play into A. Suddenly time has become a restriction. They can't go back at this point. Apex has locked up the flank. Nico, though, trying to reopen it. That's exactly what he's going to do. The flank is now open for business. They can go back to B if they want. But now they know it's just one player left. They don't have to. They can just go in together and they'll be fine. Surely they'll be fine in a 1 versus 4. Up against Body and a UMP. And he waits patiently. He's got the right position, but 3 frags is a lot to ask for from one spot. And he's going to see all of them. Alu already with his gun out and scoped up. 15-10 now. FaZe 1 away.
And that is game point for the FaZe clan. And again, G2, they went for the force buy in the previous round, so they're not going to have much to fight with in this one. Shotgun comes out once again. Other than that, it's pistol. 5-7, CZ, Deagle. They have a fair amount of smokes. They can buy time, try to throw it at awkward times for FaZe, who they would have to expect will take a somewhat slow approach. Rain continuing at game point with his MAC-10. He knows there was a force buy. He knows the helmets are still going to be lacking on the CT side. He has confidence in his abilities. Alu off to a good start. Picking off body. 3 more players in B. And 3 of these 4 players, they've still got smokes, so there's still opportunity for G2 to try and make things as awkward and weird as possible.
Yeah, pick-off like that helps so much in these situations. We can see MBK looking to be brave, to make the play, to be the one to try to bring his team back into some sort of a situation that's, well, more recoverable, let's say. FaZe is just still looking for info, and Alu's going to find themselves another kill. Now Kiyoshima has more than enough confidence to go to push out for more. They found that there's likely a stack here on this B-bomb site. There's so many players that have gone down in this position at this point. 50 seconds left, and we'll see FaZe start to rotate towards this A position. However, Nico is coming up long, and he could shoot Apex in the back if he's quick. Looks like Apex is going to be actually making a mad dash for it, wrapping around the back here. They're jumping MAC-7. Surely not. Another frag could be up for grabs here. Another frag is exactly what's going to happen. Apex, what on earth is this play from him? He's now suddenly scraped his way back into this round for his team, but there's still Alu, there's still Nico as they start to progress back onto a position where they can grab the bomb, but there's 20 seconds to go. Can Apex do it? He has to kill everybody that remains on the FaZe clan. He is alone, trying to wrap his way back around with the MAC-7, but it's simply not going to work, not another time, and that's the 16-10 for FaZe.
Brutal at the end, desperately looking for something other than a MAC-7, but nothing will